A close friend of mine used to live in one of the rooms just down the hall here in this nursing home, in this place. And he had nothing on his walls whatsoever. He just had the white walls. You all have white walls in this place. There were no pictures, no paintings, no drawings. Nothing was on his wall. And on any of his walls, nothing. And I always wondered why there was nothing on his walls, and it kind of troubled me until one day I realized that even if something was to be placed on his walls, he wouldn't be able to see it. Because one of his eyes didn't work at all, he was blind, and his other eye had a cataract. And it was such a cataract that he could only see things that were very close to his face, and only if he concentrated quite hard. It was a difficult situation for him, but that is the way that his life was. He would often lie in his bed, but he didn't complain while he lied in his bed, but he would suffer, continually suffer, day and night, year after year after year. I knew him in this place for some time, about 24 years. He waited all the time. You might be familiar with waiting. He waited for medicine. When he needed pain medicine, he waited. When he needed to eat and he was hungry, he waited. When he needed to have his diaper changed, he waited. When he needed his bedclothes changed, he waited. But mostly he waited for someone to come and to visit him. And for that, he often waited weeks, sometimes months. Wait, 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 wait. That's all he did, was wait. I know he yearned for people to visit him, and I remember every time I was late to see him, he would become worried, and he would wonder if I had forgotten him accidentally or if I had indeed abandoned him deliberately. Here we are today, gathered together. We suffer in a similar way, don't we? Sometimes we suffer a lot. Does anyone outside really care? Does anyone really know? Well, the truth of the matter is that there is someone who cares. And there is someone who knows, for Jesus cares. And Jesus knows. For our reading says that Jesus took upon himself our sufferings. And he bore them on the cross. And on the cross, Jesus proved that he loves you. He proved it. He understands your pain. He understands your suffering. He understands your anguish. He knows exactly what it's like to fall and not be able to get up all by himself. He fell 3 times under the weight of the cross. He knows what it's like to fall under the cares of the world. He knows what it's like when we fail. He knows what it's like to have to be lifted with a Hoyer lift in order to be prepared to come to the service. Doesn't he? He understands your aches. He understands your pain. He understands what it feels like to be in excruciating pain from cancer or neuropathy, arthritis, sickness. You name it, he knows. He understands. And Jesus willingly surrendered his own independence, didn't he? He was arrested by a bloodthirsty mob. He was even betrayed by a kiss, by someone close. The disciples were scattered, and Peter denied him 3 times, declaring, "I never knew him." Jesus understands. And yet he proved that he loves you on the cross. Jesus understands what it is like to lose dignity, for he gave it up. Remember the soldiers? They put a purple robe on him. They put a crown of thorns on his head and a reed in his right hand, and they mocked him and jeered at him. And they took all of his dignity away when they stripped him of all of his clothes, and they nailed him to a cross, the King of the Jews, naked. He understands. He's been spit on, much more than most of us. Do you feel that an injustice has been done in your life? Has someone been unfair? Pontius Pilate knew that Jesus was innocent, and yet what did he do? He had him scourged, flogged, beaten within an inch of his life with a whip. He understands. And then when Pilate was finished with that, what did the crowd want? Crucify him. Crucify him. And Pilate condemned him to be nailed to a cross. Ancient Rome's most evil, despicable, painful, torturous death that they could conceive. Jesus proved he loves you on the cross. He loves you. He proved it. Jesus understands all of our pain. He understands all of our struggles. He understands all of our anguishes. He knows what it's like to be alone.
I know.
He understands what it's like to wonder, could you not tarry but 1 hour? And only Jesus knows what true abandonment is, for only Jesus could declare, my God, why have you abandoned me? And yet he still chose, while we were yet sinners, to prove that he loved you on the cross. In doing so, Jesus declared that you're valuable, that he loves you so much that you matter. You are important. We're gathered together here in this place. We're not here to wait merely to die. We're here to live for Jesus, to share in his life. Because he rose from the dead, he ascended into heaven, and he sent his Spirit to be our helper. He proved he loved you, and he proved he loved the world around you, didn't he? On the cross. And just as Jesus understands your suffering, you too understand the suffering of your neighbor, don't you? Nobody understands their suffering better than you, and no one is a better suited missionary anywhere in the world than you are. Isn't that right? Nobody can bring the good news of Jesus Christ to the rest of the world better than you can. In a few moments, we're going to be celebrating communion, the Holy Eucharist. And we'll be fed the spiritual food of the body and blood of Jesus Christ. We'll be provisioned for our mission as the church in this place, for that is who we are. And then we will be sent out at the end of our service so that we might love the world around us, and that we might tell everyone, every creature, man and woman, resident and staff, that Jesus proved that he loves you on the cross.